My name is John Spann. I'm a treasure hunter here in San Diego. Please excuse me for not having my denture. 2 days ago, I was in the IC unit at Grossmont Hospital. I'm now currently in a skilled nursing facility and they lost my denture. But I'm not waiting any longer. The information that I need to get out right now to help me get out of this skilled nursing facility is very important, because 5 times my life has almost ended, and if I don't get it out now, these treasures that I have found will be lost for another 500 years. So please forgive me. I have found treasures that were first found by Herman Cortez, the same Cortez that conquered South America and overtook the Aztec nation. A miracle that of what he did will never be seen on this earth again. And he used the different people that had been being abused, he got them all together. He used their fears of their superstition, and he had steel. Steel was a major factor in overcoming. But when he got home to Spain, he was looked upon as a liar, someone who wasn't truthful, because he told the king what I'm about to tell you. I have a digital camera and photographed everything. Had he had a digital camera, his later days in life, Cortez would have been fine. But the king labeled him as somebody that told outrageous stories, tales that could never, ever be possibly true. But Cortez was a general. He had Spain running through his veins. He would never lie to a king or queen, and everything was the truth. And I can prove it. Let's start off with one of his famous quotes. Entire village full of gold, sparkling with gemstones. I photographed that village, and what led me to the village was a little yellow mustard weed plant, not indigenous to this high desert terrain in San Diego. This weed, you just have to throw the seeds down. You don't have to cover them up. It'll germinate and grow, and very hard to kill. Cortez knew this, and he knew people would be coming after his, and they would need a trail marker to follow. And he used that to go to the village. I arrived at the village and I saw that there were 6 metates. Metates are carved in stone holes that they used to grind the nuts of the oak trees and make a patty, and that's their diet. Very bitter. I mean, worms were in their diet, other things, but 3 of the holes were 6 inches, 4 inches. The other 3 were only about 3 or 2 inches. This told me that there was a tribe here for a long time, and that the tribe was growing in numbers and needed more metates. I saw that there was a river a trickling, not a river, but a spring that had overflowed and was going down the middle of this village. As I looked around, I wanted to see where the spring source water was. So I traveled up the hill. I noticed there was a Y in this river, in this little river. So I took the Y. I jumped down off of maybe a 4-foot embankment and kept on going to the other. Then I noticed there was a 20-foot cliff. So I turned around and was going to walk around to the bottom, and then I saw a little hump, maybe 2 inches, but it was this big 30 by 30 circle. Then it came to me. This is where they diverted their undrinkable water, which was impregnated with flour gold. They would let it set in this pool for a day. The gold was settled down at the bottom, and now they had drinkable water. And so I went around to the backside of where they let the water out at, because they didn't have any chlorine. The water could only stay there a couple days. They'd have to redo it. And they could take showers off of this waterfall when they released the water. Cortez then put right as the river started up again, a 10-foot rock, the length of it, and about 5 feet high, right at the beginning of the river coming down off of the waterfall. I got on my hands and knees and I looked down there. There was a basketball-sized hole going all the way through the 10 feet of that rock. I got up and I wanted to check the other side. As I did, my foot sank all the way down to the knee in flour gold. If I were to take a bag of wheat flour and a bag of flour gold and have you close your eyes and tell me which one was the flour gold, you wouldn't be able to. Both are light, both are that fluffy. So the river only went maybe another 30 yards and it hit a 50-ton boulder. You find gemstones in rock. You can find them in other places, but the larger gemstones are usually found in solid rock. The rock itself has a hardness, and the gemstone has a hardness. When water is rushing up against them, and the water is impregnated with flour gold, they wear. And the flour gold acted as a polish and put a very high shine on the gemstones that were sticking out of solid rock. Polished, unbelievable. So there you have it. An entire village full of gold, sparkling with gemstones. Cortez's claim to the king was absolutely true. The river then emptied into a meadow. I happen to know the owner of the property, and his horses, they don't act like other horses. If you look in the area on a very hot day, the horses everywhere else are under the shade of a tree. His horses lay down right as where the mouth of that river funnels out, where all the flour gold is. They have realized what the value of flour gold and gold does. Gold loves heat. Let me explain. I had flour gold in a bucket, in a steel bucket, and I put a cast iron burner underneath it, multi-orifice. And I thought I'd come back in an hour and the water would be boiled off. I came back in an hour and the water level was the same. I put my hand in it. It was hot, but it wasn't near boiling. I took a spatula and removed some of the flour gold on the bottom. It started boiling up, but then as soon as the flour gold filled it in, the bubbles stopped. The heat was being absorbed by the flour gold. The horses were rolling around in flour gold, loading up their fur, their whatever you call and the sun wasn't affecting them. They were staying cool. The ground that I would leave to go to the store and come back, the horses would be lying down. When I'd come back, they'd still be in that same position. Horses do lie down, but not during the day all day. They knew that the ground right there wasn't being affected by the sun because the gold was absorbing the heat. And we use it today in outer space. Does the same thing, absorbs the heat. And I always remarked if the owner caught me vacuuming his horses, that I would be vacuuming off the gold from him. But he never believed me. Another one that is hard to believe, that in Southern California, you won't find a nugget. You go up to Banner Grade, you go down into the desert, you will, but Southern California's geology only supports a very fine, small flour gold. So fine that you have one particle, the human eye can't see it. But when it's in a river that's being fed, it polishes stone. So their byproduct of having water was gold. And there are many others, but I'm going to stop right there. This is the story of the village full of gold. My next video that I'm going to make is going to be of an Indian and how I found a full-size Indian made of gemstone. Before I go, I want to let's mention the business aspect. I'm looking for somebody with $1 million who can put the million in their own bank account. They'll still collect the interest, they'll still have power over that money. But until our business dealings pay me $1 million and you $1 million, then can that $1 million be then released to me, and your debt for exclusivity of 40% of my business will be paid in full. I think dividends should be done every 6 months. And I believe the first dividend payment will take care of that $1 million. Thank you. That's the business aspect. And I have 10 1% shares that I'm open to suggestions. I need to get out of the skilled nursing facility, and I need to get out fast. Thank you.